everybody? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Who Is Better. I am one of your hosts, Daniel, joined by my other two hosts.
It's Berman.
And Chris.
Alright, so on this episode of Who's Better, we're taking it back to the 80s and 90s, y'all. Yes, these guys were in their prime before all of us were even born. Let's go. But no, for real, we got Hulk Hogan, represented by Berman, and Randy Savage, represented by me. And then we have Chris over here, who is going to be our judge. So, without further ado, let's dive right in to the first category. The first category, the entrances / theme, whatever you want to call it. Hulk Hogan has Real American, while Randy Savage has Pomp and Circumstance. Yeah, I almost said circumcision. That would have been wrong. Okay. So, before... Alright, you know what? Let me just say it. This theme is amazing. It's a spectacle of a theme. And Jay Lethal even remixed it, even though the remix kind of trash. Point being, though, is that just from his theme and his entrance, the influence of Randy Savage was established right then and there. And no doubt, Real American is an absolute banger. I am not going to deny Real American whatsoever. But in terms of the spectacle of the entrance, the, feel of the entrance, I'm going to give it to Randy Savage, actually.
All right, so yeah, I like both songs are great, but I feel like Hulk Hogan's is just way better. One thing for me, I feel like everyone will hear that music and recognize that music instantly, even if they're not a wrestling fan. They know the name Hulk Hogan. I feel like more than Randy Savage. I feel like to me, and I.
Oh, sorry.
Go on. Well. Oh. They both have great ones. I give that to Lethal too, but Lethal kind of sucks too with his music. But I feel like Real American has a bigger impact for wrestling, that people hear it, even if they're not a wrestling fan, they know, oh, that's Hulk Hogan's music. And they can get hyped with it because of how the music kind of ramps up and it has this sound and it gets them more hyped. Don't get me wrong, Randy Savage has the same thing. It has it's kind of like a roundup too, same thing, but I think Hulk Hogan has more of a ramp up, and it has more hype when you hear this music.
You know what? I will tell you what. You do bring a good argument right there. Hulk Hogan is definitely the bigger name out of the two. There is no denying about it here. But yeah, I guess we each have our vote. Now, Chris, take it away.
I'm sorry, Daniel. But from the moment we recorded this podcast, you already knew who was going to win this category. And that's going to Hulk Hogan.
I tried. Hulk Hogan won.
I know you tried, but to be fair, Randy Savage theme is boring. It's just the national anthem song. It's just boring.
No. Am I about to have more of a debate with the judge than I am against my opponent?
Yes, you will. I hate to sound un-American, but if you tell me with a straight face that a Hulk Hogan theme doesn't go harder and it's more recognizable, you're crazy.
No, you're right.
Just give Berman the win already.
For entrance and theme?
Yeah.
I see. Berman 1. Myself 0. Next category are the finishers. Hulk Hogan has the leg drop. Randy Savage has the elbow drop. And I know what everyone's thinking. These are the two most basic, unoriginal moves ever. Well, let me explain. Back then, this was when they invented their finishers. It was almost 40 years ago. So these moves, the leg drops, the elbow drops, were not normalized like they are today. You know what I'm saying? Like the super kick was a finisher in the 90s. That's normalized. The DDT was a finisher in the 80s. Now that's normalized. Basically, a lot of these normalized moves today were finishers from yesterday. So with that being said, though, I'm going to get down to the technical aspect of these finishers. Now, I feel like when it comes down to Hulk Hogan's leg drop, it's every time I see a match end that way, I don't know. It just feels very underwhelming. It feels very disappointing. And on top of that, Hulk Hogan has gone on record and talked about how many times he's broken his damn tailbone thanks to the leg drop. So it's not safe to do, and it just looks lame. And then for the elbow drop, Randy Savage has one of the most beautiful elbow drops of all time. And not only was it original for its time, it was also really freaking cool, in my personal opinion. So I'm just going to have to give this to Randy Savage.
All right. This is probably a fair thing that both they came out very long time ago, so they're very very generic. But I feel like the lead drop has more. It just, to me, I feel like it has more impact. If you think about the weight of the man and how big the freaking leg of this man is, he's pretty much guillotining their leg. And yes, it hurts him, but what other finisher? Well, most finishers have the exact same thing. Most of them kind of hurt their opponents. Their bodies. A lot of them, you can hear them. So it's fair to say that. But the funniest thing to me, and this, I keep on thinking about the leg drop. There's a comedian that I know that his name is Jim Norton. He is a comedian on Netflix right now, and he has the funniest joke I heard about Hogan, talking about his sex tape that he happened, and it made me laugh because it's like,
oh no,
I wonder. I know, cool down. It's more funny to me. And he says, I wonder. I've always watched the wrestling, and I was really admired by him. But I was thinking, why is this leg drop so like powerful? And then now he thinks about it. I'm like, oh no, it makes sense now. His package is hitting him right in the face, and it's just guillotine. And it makes me laugh so badly because it's like, well, yeah, it's hey, it's not bringing up a funny. It's a pretty funny point, and hey, it has a very good point in that it's like, hey, you're going to get hit by a freaking a dick. You're not going to be getting up after that. So it makes me laugh every time I hear, and I always think about Hogan's leg drop just because of that comedy special from freaking Jim Norton. It makes me laugh every time, and I just feel like the leg drop has just more fun. And I like how he sets it up sometimes with the power slam into the leg drop or a big boot into the leg drop. I like that myself. So I'm going to give it to the leg drop myself.
Okay. All right. You know what? That is some funny stuff from Jim Norton right there, I must say. But, yeah, I do feel like in terms of impact, though, I feel like having an elbow drop straight on your chest probably will have more of an impact than, the leg drop, in my personal opinion. But
it's fair. I know that's true, but I just feel like the leg drop has fun. It just feels, and if you count on the weight of the, like, I feel like, if I'm not correct, Hulk Hogan's bigger than like a lot of people, and he hitting a leg drop on someone.
He was really, like 6'5" to 300 plus pounds.
Yeah, so if you get hit by a leg drop yourself, you're gonna get like your throat is gonna get like blasted, and it's just gonna hurt you very badly. And don't get me wrong, I think the Randy Savage elbow drop is great. Everyone uses it right now. Even CM Punk uses the elbow drop, and it's really good. I think it has more impact when you use it. It looks like it hits the heart completely, but I just feel like the leg drop has more impact when I always watch it. And yeah, and I think it's just more funny with the Jim Norton story. Just every time I look and I watch the match, I always think about that Jim Norton and just thinking, oh, his package is going to hit his face again. So, and that's all.
I see. Chris, take it away.
Perfect. I think you just maybe like choose Macho Man just out of the fact that every time he does a leg drop, I don't think I could imagine anything else ever again. You stirred me. You scarred me for life. I don't want to imagine that shit, Berman. That's gross.
It's too funny.
No. That is pretty funny. Okay. Now, I hate both of these finishers. I'm gonna let you both know right now. These are so bad.
But think about it. You discovered, well, not discovered, but you really got into wrestling like last year. And when was this shit? The 80s.
If this is what wrestling was like in the 80s, I'm glad I wasn't fucking born in the 80s because this shit cringe. But
oof.
I really dislike both. But if it's the first of its kind, it's fine. But I'm gonna give it to Macho Man because I don't buy the leg drop hurting anybody. And if you get her praise package, uh, that's weird. So just for that reason alone, elbow drop, man. Macho Man.
Just imagine he's not getting knocked out by the leg; he's getting knocked out by the balls.
Fair enough. That's completely true. That's why I always think about Hulk Hogan's leg drop, even against The Rock. Even against The Rock.
All right. Well, you've heard it here, folks. Hulk Hogan won. Randy Savage won. Next category. Now, the next category is the move set. Oh boy. Now, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. I think Randy Savage was one of the best, if not the best, in-ring performers of his time. Meanwhile, Hulk Hogan was literally, in my personal opinion, Berman, you said that he had like the leg drop transitioning. No, he had the big boot transitioning into the leg drop, the power slam transitioning into the leg drop, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. That is basically his entire moveset. And if I have to be honest, this may be harsh. I would compare his wrestling skills to the Great Khali.
Oh man, Jesus! A little bit. I think that's a little bit overdoing it. I think it can to decrease that a little bit hurtfulness, man. That is not kind of true. He has done a lot of different things in his lifetime. That's not the power slam, leg drop, the big boot. Yes, he has done like his comeback, pretty much his like the original comeback where he gets punched, he gets like hyped, he gets punched, he gets hyped again. He keeps on getting punched, then catches the punch, keeps on punching, and so he gets into the body slam, big boot, and the leg drop. I kind of feel like he's kind of like the John Cena on the
John
old days.
Cena got very inspired by Hulk Hogan. That is for
like
certain.
Literally, like he has Hulk Hogan has the five moves of doom, and and John Cena has the five moves of doom. Like they're pretty much the exact same, but I feel like Hulk Hogan has more impressive, like how his age. I say against a big one, that's The Rock. Like his move, he really put all his like effort against The Rock, and I feel like that was a good match to show his more moveset. And there's a lot of other movesets he has done. Let's see, he has done a suplexes. He's done all these like very stereotypical wrestling move, takedowns, very simple things. And so I would say I'm gonna give it to Hulk Hogan still, just because I feel like he's kind of like the cheeseburger of wrestling. I would call it.
What, like a cheeseburger from McDonald's? No, I'm just kidding.
No, a cheeseburger from The Hobbit.
From The Hobbit. Okay. All right. So I voiced my opinion on Hulk Hogan's wrestling ability. You've voiced your opinion on yours. The obvious verdict is that we each have one vote. Macho, Hulk, Chris, you're the decider.
I'm the winner. I will say they are, again, very basic for both. But I feel like... shit. I will have to give it to Randy Savage. I'm sorry, Berman. I like Randy's style of fighting a bit more. Hulk Hogan is very basic, like you said, when it comes to like the cheeseburger. But if I'm being honest, the only cheeseburger he's comparable to is a White Castle burger in the frozen aisle of your liquor store.
Fuck, I'd rather have a McDonald's burger.
A little messed up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The man. I'm sorry. The man only like fucking kicks people in the face and like drops his fucking package on dudes.
Hey, I brought that up. You can't think about that without thinking about the Hulk Hogan package.
Oh.
All right. Hulk Hogan 1, Randy Savage 2. Next category. Now, this next category is the mic skills, and let's just call a spade a spade. 50% of the time, no one could know what either of these two were fucking saying. They were just hyped up out of their goddamn minds, ready to go kick some ass every time they basically stepped on the mic. Like, you know, they both have their own styles. Like, what you gonna do, brother? And then, you got Randy Savage. Oh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Basically, they both have their own styles. So for what you could say. So I guess in this case, they're both kind of neck and neck on the mic here. I guess it just comes down to a personal preference of who you believe is better on the mic. I can honestly say they're not very different on the mic. But I figure when it comes to Macho Man, I thought that he had a bit more charisma on the mic than Hogan. But that might just personally be me. So outside of those things, I feel like, yeah, it really just comes down to personal preference here. And I'm going to give my personal preference choice, or vote, I should say, to Macho Man Randy Savage.
All right, it's completely fair. But I feel like Hulk Hogan's mic skills have more developed. If you think about, first, he has been the brother character where he's like super hyped. He's pretty much making people say, "What you gonna do when the Hulk Hogan like runs over you?" Like that's the biggest line he has. Everyone loves using that line. And brother, which is I'm gonna bring this up in JoJo: The Bizarre Adventures in the anime. There's a character in there who controls the Deep Blue Moon stand, and this guy is pretty much Hulk Hogan in that show. He says brother. He has the same voice. He was the exact same as Hulk Hogan. It shows that how big Mike's skills for Hulk Hogan were if he was in pretty much in JoJo anime in Japan. In Japan.
I guess that's a fair argument, like basically saying like Hulk has his mainstream capabilities, but I think Macho Man definitely had his mainstream capabilities too. Oh yeah, that's synonymous with the Macho Man. And then you got him in Spider-Man. Bonesaw is ready. And then you also got him
I believe that's
appearing
exact.
in a lot of yeah, and then a lot of what was I about to say? He's made a lot of appearances, a lot of games. I think he what was I about to say? Yeah, he also had Slim Jim, freaking Slim Jim. He was like the poster child of Slim Jim, basically. So, with all this stuff being said, I think Macho Man definitely had some mainstream appeal to him too.
It's completely fair, but another thing that kind of I'm going to bring up really quickly is that he was not this type of person. First off, he went then came into the NWO where he was more of this heel character where he was disrespectful and his mic skills I feel like shined when he was in the NWO. He was just an a-hole most of the time, an asshole. He just didn't care. He will still say his brother versions, but he will kind of tone it down and make it more mean to their opponents. And I feel like his mic skills shows him as this NWO mean staple, and still people loved NWO when he was there. Everyone loved how he was acting. So I just feel like to me, Hulk Hogan has more of this mainstream because of how Hulk Hogan delivers his sound and how I feel like he has been inspired so many people with his style of wrestling or like style of mic skills, including in Japan and everywhere. So I feel like I'm gonna give this for Hulk Hogan.
All right. I mean, I'll tell you what. I feel like around that time, sure, Hogan might have been the biggest of the crop, but there definitely was that portion of the audience that was inspired by an Ultimate Warrior or a Ricky Steamboat or Randy Savage instead. So I will tell you what, though, in terms of like who was the biggest out of them all, it probably was Hogan. So yeah, Chris, I'm gonna let you decide here who has the better mic skills.
I just want to say they're both equally as greats, but I feel like Macho Man is kind of like a one-noted character, if anything. Like I love the guy. He's great. He's a meme lord. But if I gotta give it to the mic skills, it's gonna go to Hulk Hogan for this round. Because Hulk Hogan, as much as I hate his wrestling and the whole package thing that Berman keeps reminding me of throughout this whole goddamn episode, the man can talk. He came up with the whole wrestling, and if anything, he's a better talker than an actual wrestler. So give it to Hulk Hogan.
Okay. Hulk Hogan 2, Randy Savage 2. We got 3 categories left to settle this. Category 5, who's the better face? Now, I'm going to say it. Another one of those hot takes. I never bought Hulk Hogan's crap, ever, when he was a face. I saw through his bullshit every single fucking time. whether it was the Shawn Michaels feud or needing to get his win back on Ultimate Warrior in ECW or WCW, I mean, Hulk Hogan is just a greedy asshole who literally has no will to put anybody other than himself over. So, yeah, of course, when I see this dude as a face, I'm like, no, the fuck you're not. You're racist. You're a piece of shit. You're not a face. But Macho Man's a face. He inspired a lot of people. I'm not saying Hogan didn't either, but let's be real. The only reason people were inspired by Hogan is because they never knew who the real person was behind Hulk Hogan. So, yeah, man, Macho Man is far more believable. When he won the WF title, that one night alone shows that he's a better face than Hogan has been in his entire career. So, I can't even give this another second of thought. This automatically goes to Randy Savage.
I think you're going into the personal side on this. I feel like this is a phase. Yes, for everyone in the background, Hulk Hogan was probably an a-hole down to the bone, and I don't do that. But as a face in the wrestling business, not outside of it, in the wrestling business, I think he's probably a great face. Like everyone loves him. Everyone does the Hulkmania. Like Hulkmania is running wild stuff. Everyone cheers every time when he comes into the ring. Recently, the last WrestleMania when he popped up, everyone cheered. Everyone was happy to see him. It's always happy when you see Hulk Hogan being Hulk Hogan with the brother version of everything. So I feel like for me, he's a better face, and he has more of a mainstream where everyone loves him, and so many people actually has been inspired, like John Cena and many other people. And so I feel like face for Hulk Hogan is probably the biggest thing for him, and that's all I have to say. I feel like he's a better face.
You know what? I will tell you what. Maybe I am involving a bit of personal stuff a lot, but it's hard for me not to. It's really hard for me not to. He held back so many great people. I don't know, man, but I get what you're saying. When it comes down to the actual wrestling side of things, a lot of people were cheering for Hogan, and the type of reactions he got were second to nobody. He literally started Hollywood Rock's heel turn, if you think about it. When WrestleMania 18, he got the entire 70K people to basically boo The Rock. That's impressive. That is really impressive. So
that's how good he is.
So yeah, I will tell you what. Maybe I am making it a bit personal, or maybe I'm not. I'm gonna let Chris be the decider here. I chose Randy. You chose Hulk. What do you have to say, Chris?
How can you say that Randy Savage is a good guy when he obviously beats that poor lady in the background every time?
What are you talking about,
His
bro?
manager.
You're talking about Elizabeth? He never physically harmed Elizabeth.
How do I know that? He has
What do
behind
you
closed
mean?
doors.
How you know that?
We don't
what
know
do you
that.
Mean?
We don't know that.
You're really just accusing the guy.
We don't know that. No, we're gonna use outside influence and bullshit.
No, there is physical evidence to what I have to say. Don't do that. You're just making allegations.
Allegations?
He's bringing up a fair point. Sorry. Yeah, but say you brought Hulk Hogan as a personal side. You never said anything about Randy Savage. You don't know what's the personal side about Randy Savage. So I think you should do the cons and the positives and cons. You should be equal between both of them. But I know you don't want to be that first thing is going to be Randy, but you should focus on maybe what happened when he was personal. Like, was he anything personally? And then you focus completely on Hulk Hogan. You didn't say anything whatsoever on Randy Savage if he was personal, like anything. So you pretty much like put him on the sidelines, Hulk Hogan on the sidelines, and say, hey, he's in the middle. Randy Savage is in the middle. He has nothing personal to him on the outside of the ring. It's a little bit biased, and it makes sense. But Chris, keep on going.
He totally beat that lady, Daniel. You can't tell me otherwise.
What evidence do you have of that, my friend?
I don't have any evidence. I just know he died holding that fact.
So,
but just for this case, you didn't really talk too much about Randy Savage being a face. You were just mostly attacking Hulk Hogan. So for that very reason, I'm gonna have to give it to Hulk Hogan for the face category.
Chris,
support your man.
He never even hit her. What are you talking about?
Hulk Hogan is an American hero in the 80s. He didn't do anything wrong then. Back then.
You're so lucky you're not 6 feet within me, so I could just beat the piss out of you right now.
Oh,
what do you mean?
You starting to sound like Hulk Hogan right now. You need to calm down.
What do you mean? All right.
He's bringing so many points, dude. Like, you didn't say, really, the only thing you said about Randy Savage is that he's inspired people. You didn't say a lot of people, you didn't say anything about, like, oh, why is he a good face? Any examples of why he's a good face? You didn't say anything. That's probably why you lost, because you completely targeted, like, a freaking rifle sniper. You targeted Hulk Hogan and not your own Randy Savage. You should first do Randy Savage and then say, oh, wait, here's some cons about Hulk Hogan, why he's not a good face. Like, you just pinpointed it, Hulk Hogan, and then left Randy Savage on the sidelines saying, like, oh, I'm going to fend for himself. Like, that's not smart of you to do that.
Fine. Hulk gets this point. Fine. Just, fuck. What do you mean he hit her? No, he didn't. Oh, you got me fucking triggered over here, Chris. Oh, man. All right, Hulk Hogan 3. Randy Savage 2. Next category. Who's the better heel? Well, I guess since Randy Savage beat his wife, that makes it him, right? Chris?
You about to lose this category and not bring up any valid points again, Daniel?
Shut up.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Let me bring up valid points. Jesus Christ. All right. Whether it was in the Intercontinental title division, in the main title division, no matter where he was as a heel, he's had many legendary feuds as a heel. Whether it was with Steamboat, Hogan himself, I'll include Hogan there. Ultimate Warrior, he had a lot of matches with, and that was kind of a legendary feud for what it can be considered. And yeah, in general, the Macho Man, he definitely is, has a bit of a psychotic vibe to him as a heel. And I think that overall as a heel, he is just incredibly entertaining. And if you look around and see a lot of the heels in today's business, I feel like a lot of them were inspired by some of the mannerisms and some of the things Randy Savage did. So, yeah, honestly, that's how I can benefit Randy Savage. I can safely say from the 80s, he was one of the best heels out there. So, yeah, I'm going to give this to Randy Savage.
So for me, I think he's a great heel, mainly from his era of the NWO. The most famous thing is pretty much the most famous heel turn in there in the Battle of the Beach Bash. I forgot what's the name of it. It was pretty much the biggest thing. Everyone would want to know who was the tag team partner for Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. No one knew. And when Hulk Hogan came out, it was like, oh, Hulk Hogan is going to be with the good side. No, he joined the bad side and he turned heel, and everyone booed his ass completely. And that shows how big he is. That he can, and that everyone loved him. And in a split second, when he turned heel, everyone started booing his ass like completely, and everyone. But that's an interesting thing. And he has so many good rivalries. Some with Stings, like the different versions of Sting. He had so many rivalries with other famous famous people in the WCW. So it was very big for him. And with him doing like invasions of the WWE, he pretty much invaded them and kind of terrorized them a lot. And so I feel like he's one of the bigger heels and inspired a lot of people on this heel category. And I feel, and if you watch the documentary Evil, it shows a lot of things about him as a heel and why he was a good heel and more up to bases and stuff where we did do a review, but it's interesting to watch again. So I feel like Hulk Hogan is the better heel on his next level evil he is in that heel turn.
Like, all right, he was a good heel. I'm not going to say he was a bad heel or anything. He did his job. But I don't know, man. Like, whenever I see him as a heel, kind of like, how I see him as a face, I don't know. When I see him as a heel, part of me just thinks either Yeah, it's just hard to say. I feel like there's just something off, though. I can't really describe it, but it just feels like there was something off with Hulk Hogan as a heel. To me personally, just
Possible.
I don't know.
That's
I don't know
possible.
what it is.
Yeah, that's
But
possible. Sorry, I'm gonna fix one thing too.
what's
That
up?
a big thing too, and I'm gonna there's a kind of counter argument to Randy Savage with his NWO heel turn. He pretty much made so many people and so many factions of this days. Like you can think of the Bullet Club. They pretty much made the new world order. They made that. They have made a lot of these people. They have pretty much mixed their fingers into these big heel factions around the world, and that's what so many people got inspired by these heel NWO characters.
I get it.
So that's another big thing.
Like I get where you're coming from. Like the creation of NWO, he's a great heel, and all that stuff. But I don't know though. When it came down to Randy Savage, all Randy ever needed to get the job done was himself. You know, he never needed like an NWO to get people to hate him. He just knew how to do it.
I hear you too.
But
I feel like when he went for the biggest thing, the heel turn. And I said this before. Before the heel turn, everyone loved him. There was not a lot of people who booed him. Everyone pretty much like cheered for him, had action figures in their hands. But as soon as that heel turn popped, everyone booed him. Everyone booed him, throw stuff at him. Everyone started burning merchandise of Hulk Hogan. Like that is just brutal. Like showing how his heel turn destroyed everyone's childhood. To me, that's how it shows how good of a heel he was. Just that point of time, and that's just brutal for me.
You know what I will say though? I feel like that point can be made about John Cena. If John Cena was to turn heel today, it would honestly destroy the way a lot of people looked up to John Cena growing up. So I will say that though. But yeah, so you know what? We both said good points. Now it's time for Chris to bring up his point.
Now, in this category at the heels, they're both areas different. I mean, personally, I like Randy Savage as a heel a little bit more because he's so goofy, and he totally beats his manager in character. And you can't tell me otherwise, Daniel.
In character, maybe. I'm not gonna act like he didn't in character, but out of character, I think you're out of pocket for throwing those allegations against him.
Right. And then as for Hulk Hogan, well, he may not be as comically villain as Randy Savage, but during the Hollywood Hogan era, that shit was insane, dude. There were so many spots in here Hogan just being, I guess, his real life personality was coming out to the real stuff, if you know what I mean, guys.
I wanted to say that so bad, I'm trying not to make it personal anymore.
No, but between these heels, I think I'm gonna have to go Hogan, Daniel. I think he's a better heel than Randy Savage. Randy Savage is a good heel, but only because he's like comically.
So you think
a villain.
Hogan is both a better face and a better heel?
Yes. Well, because you didn't fucking defend him in the face category properly, Daniel.
What do you mean?
Burberry told
you. Really did not.
God.
You really did not.
Well, guys, I think I've lost.
No, let's do one more category.
But wait. Okay, so Hulk Hogan won the entrance and theme. He won the mock skills. He won the face and he won the heel. He's 4-2. Savage already lost. What?
But
Savage lost. Okay, hold on.
It could be good. Maybe the best match could even it up as close as possible. Like it's close. I would say let's just try it. Let's try a best match. Let's see. Right. Maybe something good happens for you.
Hogan 4, Savage 2. I cannot believe this. Final match, the final category. I messed up my words because I'm so stubborn that I lost. All right, next category.
Can you handle it, brother?
All right, best match. So we got Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, WrestleMania 18 being Berman's choice. And then my choice being Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. Both WrestleMania matches, interestingly enough. But we both have to come up with our points for who has the best match. Now, Savage lost this debate no matter what, but I can say this. Even if you think Hogan is the better wrestler than Savage, Hulk Hogan has never been able to make a masterpiece like Steamboat and Savage did at WrestleMania 3. Now, don't get me wrong. Rock versus Hogan is a shit ton of fun, but it's for one reason and one reason only. The crowd. Mute that crowd and watch that match from start to finish. It is actually terrible. But, yeah, with all that being said, it's an iconic match thanks to the crowd, which I understand. But I think Savage and Steamboat is perfection. So that's just my personal opinion, and that genuinely made the IC title very prestigious. With matches like these, I must add on. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I'll let Berman say his stuff, and then I'll let Chris decide who has the best match.
Yeah. So for this match, so I feel like this Hulk Hogan and versus The Rock was his best match of all time for Hulk Hogan, and this match shows that an older wrestler can stand up to one of the new era of wrestling. And I feel like it shows that how he pretty much, I feel like to me, Hulk Hogan pushed The Rock all the way to stardom. And I feel like that's what shows how good this match is, that someone can push someone all the way. And that Danny did put this out, that Hulk Hogan in this match made everyone boo for The Rock, where The Rock was a face at this time. So it shows this match that there's a lot of cool back and forth with these guys, like trash talking between these guys in this match, and how the match worked with the leg drops and everything, and the rock bottom and the people's elbow. It was just a great combination. I like watching the match with, if I want to watch a Hulk Hogan match, I watch this match or the Andre the Giant. So I feel like Hulk Hogan versus The Rock is probably the best match in a general terms, and that's all I have to say on this one.
Damn. Any?
Oh, I said everything I have to say, so it's up to you, Chris.
I was actually going to give you the point. I actually enjoyed the Ricky Steamboat more than the Randy Savage thing, more than anything. I mean, yeah, the Hulk Hogan versus The Rock was great, but it was mostly like 10 minutes of the Hulkster getting his ass kicked by The Rock until like the last 5 seconds where he's just like, I'm winning. I'm winning, just for him to lose. But with the Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage, oh my god. Jim Norton mouthful of shit. No, Berman. Daniel has a better match because that was an actual wrestling match, not Hulk Hogan kissing his own ass and be like, you guys remember? So I'm giving it to Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage.
So
that's the better match.
Based off the points here, right? No matter what Hogan won, but let me just point this out. So Hogan got the entrance, the mic skills, the face, and the heel, while Savage got the finisher, moveset, and best match. So what it sounds like to me is you think Hogan is the better personality, but Savage is the better in-ring performer?
Yes.
That's pretty fair. But no matter what, it's sad to say, I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth. I feel like I want to puke. Hulk Hogan is the better wrestler of all time than Randy Savage. Oh, that has never happened in my top 10. Oh my God. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Who Is Better. It's been fun. And we've been joking. We've been yelling at each other. All crazy kinds of shit. We'll be doing that in the next episode too, I guarantee. As it will be me representing CM Punk against Chris representing Jon Moxley. So I've been Daniel.
I've been Berman.
I'm Chris.
And we'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.